Hello, hello. Welcome back to Basic Science, where we discuss freely about research, science, and academia. And in the previous episode, we were discussing AI, especially chatbots and its ability to write scientific sentences, abstracts, and even protocols. And it's really crazy. And this brought me last week to a tangent where I decided to think, and because in here I created a podcast studio, also to try to make a business out of it, and I'm trying to learn the ropes of entrepreneurship. And something I thought of is, since there's this emergent um, trend of using AI to create video content, why not hiring my first employee would be an AI? And this, I kind of projected this to be, let's say, in 2040, this would be the future, and it would be like the standard to hire robots to perform some of the tasks in your companies. What would happen to the jobs? Would we see like a drop of accessibility of jobs that human people previously were able to do? That's a very good question, and this leads me to today's topic, which is the future. And we're not discussing science today. Indirectly, it's more metaphysic and philosophical, sorry, um, description of what is the future. And this is a bit inspired with current of event that happened. Like, I saw a couple of videos. One was from Charlie Danger, which is a French YouTuber. She made her channel is Les Revues du Monde, and she made a video describing what is the future perceived from people in the past. And also, I simultaneously, the same time or week, even the same day, I had this thought of, as scientists, we really shape the societies, and we, thanks to our discoveries, we kind of improve the quality of life, the way we do things and live and experience things. And yeah, so this led me to ask the question to myself: what is the future? And more than that, how can science fiction, science and science fiction shape the reality we live in? Is this something that is actually true? So, let's say someone thinks of flying cars. We're not so far fetched from this reality. Now we have electric cars. I know that maybe a few years before, electric cars were like something possibly in the science fiction realm. So it's a very nice question to ask ourselves: what is the borderline between science and science fiction? And today, I'm not being a good scientist, because we're in the sense that we're discussing metaphysics. I don't know if a lot of scientists like this metaphysic aspect of things, but for me, it's something that is very important and anchored in my personality. So yeah, it's like a very cool thought to think. So if I go back to the video I saw from Charlie Danger, Les Revues du Monde, she asked herself, what is the future? And the future is a very recent notion, actually. Before that, let's say in the medieval ages, um, the notion of future is not the same as we have it today. Why? So let's say in Europe, uh, there's the religion part that was predominant, and especially Christianity. And for Christians, the future is a bit what's described in the apocalypse. So it would be the end of the world, the Savior coming back, and so on. So the future in terms of the Christianity is something that could happen, imminently. It could be tomorrow, in 3 days. It could be really, really far, but there's no notion really of future. But yeah, like this taught me this interesting question of wow. So the notion of future is really, really new. And let's say when I ask you what is the future, what do you have in mind? Is it like spaceships, space exploration? Is it like the status of Earth? Are we going to have futuristic cities? Are we gonna have a post apocalyptic kind of way of living, like in Mad Max? What is the future for you? And it's really interesting to see it that way, in the sense that it's so interesting to have this dimensions of science fiction reshaping our reality, because science and our knowledge is so advanced. The science fiction ideas are not really far-fetched. One example of this is there's currently companies that people pay for them to cryogenize their body or their heads, so they can eventually live in the immortality. Um, this is really, you know, uh, it could be a scam, because uh, could could we really reach that level of humans being living in immortality? And this leads to the question: what would be immortality? Is it living in our biological bodies immortally, like having a way to make our bodies younger as time advances? Or would it be to what Elon Musk is trying to prone, this idea of inputting your mind into a computer, a little bit like the Matrix? So basically, your mind is somewhere, which is artificial, and basically because your mind is somewhere that is continuing to exist, you would be living immortally. So what is immortality for you? So those are very cool questions, and it was more a shorter episode today because I'm filming three, uh, and just for us to discuss this really fun boundary between science and science fiction, the future, uh, the discoveries we're making that slowly make those science fiction more and more a reality. And this is something that I've been noticing, and something that I found really cool but scary at the same time. I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am to know, to see what's the future hides for us, because each time we do something here now in the present, it's slowly shifting the reality we will be living in the future. And this leads me to the other science fiction fact that might actually be true, which is multi-dimension in the universe. So let's say there is indeed a multi-dimension to the universe, and you have multiple copies of yourself in different universes, but those multiple copies do actions differently than you do in your universe. Maybe those actions will lead to a very different future from the one you will be living in. So this notion of future is really interesting, and it's something that is really new that we need to continue to nourish by our imaginary, but also by our excitement to make discoveries and help, help growing those imaginary thoughts into a more realistic, enclosed reality. So that was it for the first episode. It was more a short thought snippet of myself, a scientist, perhaps, if I can call myself like that, of those cool ideas of metaphysics, physics, and how biology all combined together, and how all those scientific discoveries are reshaping reality in the reality, and how science fiction sometimes is a bit scary but sometimes become reality. So yes, so this is the first episode amongst 3 episodes that will be releasing this week. So see you in the next episode that I will record just right now.